Wow, what a surprise. The autistic dude really liked the new Sonic game. Well, what's next? You like the new Dragon Ball game too? Yes, but look, this is different. I've had mixed feelings at best with the recent Sonic games, alright? Frontiers has some good stuff, but was bogged down by a lack of direction in a lot of areas. Superstars was okay, don't know why they got the Yoshi's New Island devs in on this one. And Sonic Dream Team, as fun as it was, is an Apple Arcade exclusive. This game though? Woo, it's gas! You're telling me Sega is finally remastering Sonic Generations? But they're adding a side campaign with Shadow as a playable character? Okay, that could be actually good. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. At this point with any upcoming Sonic thing, I just preload my disappointment. I mean, can you blame me? I was born in the year 2000, just as shit was getting good until... Lo and behold, it ended up being the best feeling Boost game ever? It was so good, IGN actually gave it a 9 out of 10. Now, frankly, I don't really care about IGN, and we do have to remember how many reviewers with differing opinions are employed there, but it was still completely shocking for a Sonic fan. What, did Sonic Team actually cook with this one? Before I go further into this, quick question. Did anybody else buy this solely just to play the Shadow stuff and didn't really care about the Generations side of things? I played Generations on PC for so long, I just didn't really care, you know? Dude, hold on, the web series they did for this game? Sega's done them before, but none look this good. I mean with game tie-in specifically, Chow in Space was fucking awesome. You could even watch it in-game. Only on the PlayStation version. Cool, thanks Sony. I am primarily going to be talking about the PC version because that's the one I've played the most, and there are some really cool mods that I want to show off. This cool ass Shadow model and alternate Mephiles lighting was made by Lady Lunanova, who also makes really good 3D art. Follow them on Blue Sky. This material overhaul mod was made by Pikachu378. It reduces the fall off, you know, that weird like glowy white lighting on a lot of the character models that just looks off. It reduces that heavily. And this custom title screen mod made by Prod NW, which is pretty self-explanatory. For me, I just don't like the North American key art for this game. It's kind of lame. And I also have some graphic and system mods that are built into the mod manager that are made by Hyper and letters. Oh, and yes, I did buy this game twice. Are you surprised at this point? One more note, I did play this game in Japanese because I'm not really the biggest fan of Kirk Thornton's Shadow, and definitely not a fan of Rouge's voice actress. Oh, speaking of, I might as well mention Vanilla Generations because there are some differences from the OG release. I forgot to write in the script, but you can collect Chows now and see them in the overworld and collection room. Oh my god, they're so cute! The one gameplay change that I've noticed is that both versions of Sonic have the drop dash, which is pretty cool for classic Sonic. What was a mod in the PC version is now in an official release, so that's awesome. Although it doesn't work as well as I'd like, and that goes double for modern Sonic. I don't even know why they gave it to him, because in both styles, it's completely useless, because, you know, boost? For some reason for modern, it's embedded into his moveset, but with classic Sonic, it's a skill. Why not just make it a skill for both of them? That's such a weird choice. Whatever, the biggest change they actually did is the whole damn script. I didn't even know this was happening until I just saw a tweet of it one day. So Ian Flynn, if you don't know, he co-writes for the really good IDW comics and has been writing for the game since Frontiers. That even extends to the Apple Arcade game, so I guess he's just the writer for the franchise now? Don't get me wrong, I'm cool with it. I just wasn't expecting it to reach to mobile spin-offs. Anyways, he rewrote the dialogue in Generations to have it line up better with the series lore, because if you've also forgotten, there is an official lore team for the series now, and he added dialogue for modern Sonic when he rescues somebody, which I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it was weird that he just wouldn't say anything back to his friends after saving them. You have nothing to say. At all. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Thanks, Sonic. That was awful. I couldn't tell where I was or what had happened. Ugh. Like I was trapped in a nightmare.
Of course, with the new script, they had the current cast redub it, and it's pretty good for the most part, but you can tell that the mouth flaps don't match well most of the time.
Wow, that was crazy, Sonic. You weren't kidding. It's like you never left.
The only cast member I did not expect to come back was Matt Mercer, so he's still on the payroll, I guess. I wonder if Sega had to beg him to come back. Mr. Mercer, please come back. We can't lose another talented voice actor, okay? Look, SB only has like 5 lines, so it won't even take that long, I swear. Yeah? Okay. Fine, we won't book you on Thursday. Even though the script was changed, the story is practically non-existent anyway, so it doesn't really fundamentally change the entire plot structure or anything like that. I'm just surprised they even bothered to do something like this in the first place. Even though a lot of fans have played this game on PC for over a decade. Oh my god, this game came out 13 years ago. It is nice that the console-only folks can finally play Sonic Generations again. Alright, now that I'm done with that, let's just move on to the Shadow Generations campaign. It is so goddamn good, I still feel like I'm dreaming. Something I find amusing about the story is that it's practically a sequel to Shadow the Hedgehog. The Time Eater is here just to fit this in with Generations. It is implied that Black Doom would have returned anyway, the Time Eater just unintentionally sped things up. This is fully taking place during Generations, which means while Sonic is dicking around with Tails and their younger selves, Shadow is going through all of this. Oh hell yeah, dude, I love trauma. Now mind you, this game is really short, but Jesus Christ, does it come out swinging with this game's rendition of Space Colony Arc. Blaring and realizing how good the physics and controls are immediately pulled me in, and that sense of excitement stayed with me the whole time. I am a big advocate for great level design in Sonic games, especially the 3D ones. Boost games like Unleashed and Generations did a great job encouraging the player to find other routes for the sake of speedrunning. This game does this so well, I loved going back to previous levels to cut down my time. Oh my god, these levels are so good. Space Colony Arc, like I said, is a very strong start, and this part just tickled my little monkey brain. It's so stupid, but it's so cool. Rail Canyon's pretty good. Kingdom Valley is fantastic. I love the tail end of the level. It's so pretty looking. Sunset Heights is oddly one of my favorites. I wish these guys designed the Forces levels instead of a bunch of newbies. Chaos Island is amazing. I did not expect to like these two levels in particular, especially since these events haven't even happened yet, but I guess they wanted more stage variety. It's not really that big of a deal. And Radical Highway is as good as I wanted it to be, thank God. I think leaving it for last was a good call. I also love the few times Shadow gets sent into a remix to Radical Highway. It never gets old to me. And with all of this level talk, I really am surprised that despite how much they pulled from the original Shadow game, that there isn't a single level from it. They could have at least done Westopolis. They turned an open world level from Frontiers into a great boost stage, so it's not like the original level being mid would have stopped them. Maybe they just didn't want to bother, or they were pressed for time. I'm not really sure. It's Sega, who knows at this point. At least the level clear theme is a remix of the old one. That's something. To make sure I don't forget, the Act 2 and challenge levels are all pretty great, and I really like the ones that are based on Chaos Control. I'm glad that most of these didn't even come close to being stinkers. Now, the levels are one thing in a game like this. The bosses are another story, and hot damn are they fun. Oh my god, anytime you got a hit in, it is the most satisfying thing in the world. I was expecting ones like BioLizard and Black Doom, obviously, but fighting Neo Metal with What I'm Made Of blasting in the background?
Trying to reach inside of me, trying to take my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of.
And Mephiles is one I was genuinely not expecting. Probably because I figured Sega by this point just didn't even want to reference 06 anymore, since their sarcastic era is over. Thank Christ, that got so annoying. I have to mention, the way Shadow beats this dude's ass is sick. I like that you could just tap the attack button to do slightly more damage, but it's also just so cool. Shadow doesn't seem to know who he is, so they're actually keeping the lore straight. I never got why they kept Silver in Forces. Generations I get, but did we just forget how 06 ended? None of this happened! It's so funny that it took making a whole team whose job it is to keep this shit on track. So I'm glad that they took the opportunity to acknowledge that Mephiles technically doesn't exist anymore. Black Doom's boss is fan-fucking-tastic. The energy and intensity of the fight makes it a satisfactory ending, and oh my god, I love this remix of All Hail Shadow. It is a hell of a lot better than the one from the original Shadow game, where it's just, alright, get over here to the other side, hit him a little bit, oh, he sent me back, better use Chaos Control, rinse and repeat. I feel like I should talk a little bit more about the story because I actually like it. Shadow gets some pretty great character moments, and he actually has character rather than him being just there for fan service and nothing else. I was only worried a little bit how he'd be written because, spoilers for the IDW series by the way, while Ian Flynn writes him pretty well in the comics, I always disliked how he gets zombified if it felt really out of character for him to just be stupid, but he did a really good job. I genuinely cared about his inner conflict and relationship with Maria. I genuinely like how the story was done. I really hope he gets more characterization like this in the future games. It would finally break the narrative that he's just some boring, edgy character. You know what? I have not talked about the gameplay enough. I already mentioned the really solid physics and tight controls, but I'm being completely serious when I say that Shadow controls so well that when I went back to play Sonic Generations, he felt sluggish in comparison. It felt so good to get his movement down and get better at cutting down my best time by going absolutely nuts. The Chaos Control mechanic isn't just a way to get free time cuts or a get out of jail free card when you screw up. There are points in the stage where you can find a shortcut if you activate it at the right time, and much like the other Boost games, I am using the stomp constantly. Sonic Team really nailed the gameplay this time, and I am so happy. If I'm actively trying to get all S ranks, that's how I know I love this game. There are also things you can collect for this game's version of the collection room, like story bits from previous games, music, cutscene viewer, artwork, which I quite enjoy. There's even some Sonic X stuff in here. Oh my god, I just realized I haven't talked about the hub world yet. At first, it seemed like it would just fall in line with how it is in Generations, but it's a full 3D world with surrounding environments based on the stages, which is a really cool detail. You can explore and find these collectibles after getting medals in the stages, and it does a really good job teaching you the new Doom abilities, which by all means are bangers. I only found Doom Morph to be a bit awkward to get used to, but by the final boss, I got it. Oh shit. I love the Doomwing the most, but I generally don't use it in levels just to see how fast I can beat them. This thing cuts through the stages like butter. Now, I would be a fake-ass Sonic fan if I didn't mention how amazing this soundtrack is. Yeah, I know it's mostly remixes, but who doesn't love a good Sonic remix? I was a bit confused as to why there wasn't a remix of I Am All of Me anywhere, but I did listen to the title screen in its entirety, and I missed this. You know what? I actually think it would be best if I took a page from Bickery Box's book and just showed off some of my favorite tracks. It would showcase it better than just me talking about them. The CD soundtrack for this game, you know my ass is gonna buy this shit on CD Japan so quick. Oh, I love import fees. Now, while I don't really have much negatives to give the game, I do wish there was just a little bit more. Other than some Shadow the Hedgehog the video game levels, I think at least 2 more bosses would be cool. We saw Gemroll in Dark Beginnings, but he would have been a pretty cool boss to give some representation to the portable games. And I know why Sonic wasn't a boss, but I really did expect to fight him only for it to just be a cutscene. I get that there's like canon to uphold because Sonic won that fight, but I would have liked to fight him from Shadow's perspective, but it's not a big deal or anything. What I do find funny, however, is that they just spruced up the Frontiers model for this cutscene and didn't use the Generations one. Okay, well, first of all, I get it, I'm a huge nerd or whatever, but I just wonder why. This would never happen, but what if Shadow fought his counterpart Sir Lancelot from the Black Knight? That'd be cool. I get these are bosses that he had to have fought himself, but would that not be cool? Am I crazy? Don't answer that. I am really happy that us Sonic fans have an actual good game to play and not mid-games that Sonic fans overhype, or worse, go back to the shit and say, oh, that was pretty good actually. No, this game is actually good, above a 7 out of 10 type shit. Can't wait for people in the future to say, you know what, Shadow Generations overhyped actually. Even if you stopped giving a damn about Sonic forever ago, I would still recommend this game. I think you'd like it. I guess all that's left is to thank everyone involved in making this side content really good and somewhat comparable to Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury in terms of being surprisingly good for a side mode and hopefully indicative of what the future games will be like. I am glad this turned out to be one of the best Sonic releases in a while. Good job, Sonic team. And good job, Sega. As long as whoever's been sabotaging Sonic for so long is no longer in charge of this shit, I'm glad. Seriously, it's felt like someone at Sega just hates Sonic, and if there is such a person, I will find him. No, not us, not we, not the community, me. If you donate your hard-earned money to me and not your overpriced groceries and other things you need to live, I will personally go find this individual and just tell them, go fuck yourself!